Hello and welcome to a special winter break edition of HawkTalk with Dan K. I'm your host, Dan K. We're here covering Harper Hawks sports action. WHCM is off the air until the beginning of January. We still got about a week and a half left until we'll be back on the air, but Harper Hawks sports does not stop, and we've had a couple of men's and women's basketball games happening over the break that we have to get to cover. When we do come back for Hawk Talk with Dan K on the air, it'll be on Tuesdays and Thursdays now, 7 to 9 p.m. on WHCM 88.3, the broadcast station of Harper College and its Board of Trustees. We'll start off with a game that happened right at the end of the fall semester. Our men's squad took on Moraine Valley Community College and head coach Tony Amarino, who used to be Harper College's basketball coach before leaving retiring a couple of years ago. He got the itch and came back. The Hawks had beaten Moraine Valley earlier in the year. However, when it came to the home matchup, they were unable to replicate that success. They would go down to Moraine Valley Community College 99-70 in a blowout game. Really just too much for the Hawks to handle. Joseph Rusevich dropped 30 points on the Hawks. He had a double-double with 12 rebounds. Tommy Dimo-Girantes had a big game too, 15 points, 3 rebounds, 5 assists, 3 blocks, and 5 steals. For the Hawks, the scoring was led by Marcus Dover. He had 15 points. Joey Gatziolis had 13. Marcus Dover had a double-double with 15 and 11, but Hawks struggled to shoot the ball immensely in this one. They shot pretty poorly from the field, and it was a disappointing loss nonetheless. Going forward, the Hawks had one more game before they went on their holiday break. It was a doubleheader. Women's squad played at 5 p.m. against Elgin Community College. Men's squad played at 7 p.m. against the College of Lake County. I was there for both of those matches, and they were certainly very entertaining, to say the least. We'll start off with the women's game, and it was a victory for the women's squad. They took home the victory 73-58, by far the most dominant performance of our women's team's season so far. And it was a solid game. They didn't shoot very well from the field. It was a sloppy game, that's for sure. I remember it certainly going back and forth, and the Hawks kept Elgin in the game for sure with their turnovers, but they had some dominant defense in the second half. And that's really been the key to any of their victories, has been really shutting down the squad in the second half. And they were led by some big shooting from Tamara Zivak. 34 points, 13 rebounds, a double-double for her. Angelina Villison added 27. She also had 8 assists. Very good game. They're really the two stars of the women's team, and it's going to be up to them in this conference season to really carry us if we're going to find any success really going forward. And certainly, it's going to be up to them, Tamara and Zivak, especially with the news that the third best player on the team and their sharpshooter from 3, Sarah Mahmoud, will not be playing in the spring semester. The men's game was against College of Lake County. They lost to the College of Lake County 83-81 earlier in the year. That was up in Lake County. And so Lake County was certainly looking to get revenge on the Hawks here, and they put up quite a big fight. Really only 2 players shined for Lake County. Jarrell Todd, 17 points, 14 rebounds, a double-double for him, and their star player Ethan Sage dropped 27 points. He had 15 rebounds. He was tough to stop, hurt his team late in the game with a technical foul, however. That was directed, was an expletive that may or may not have been directed towards an official, which is never a good sign. I don't know if there were any further repercussions from that one for Ethan Sage. I'd have to look that up, and that would take a bit of research. So we'll just assume that he got off all right with that. But that was a big turning point in the game. It really is back and forth the whole way. The Hawks led at the half 42-35. And they were able to maintain their lead. They let Lake County back in the game with a little sloppy play in the second half, but all in all, it was a big victory for the Hawks before the holiday break, and they were led by their 2 new additions who are going to be keys going forward in this conference season, Brent Cooks and Isaiah Butler. Brent Cooks, 20 points, Isaiah Butler, 21 points. Big game for both of those guys. They've kind of replaced Marquise Woodard and Quandell McGee as the 2 guards in our offense, which is certainly interesting. I mean, I like Marquise a lot. His defense, I think, is really key. He can really intercept those passes up at the top of the key. He's got a lot of steals on the year. Q's a good player, too. Him and Marquise had some great chemistry earlier in the year. They were excellent in the Des Plaines, or the Oakton Community College game that I was at. Yeah, and they have not played. They did not play a lot or at all, really, in this game against the College of Lake County, and they would not play at all in the game last night against Wilbur Wright either. So it looks like it's going to be Brent Cooks and Isaiah Butler's team going forward. I don't know if I agree with that. I think as a coach, you got to reward the guys. I mean, these are transfers in, so you really can't hold anything against them for not playing the spring semester. They just weren't eligible. I still think you got to give minutes to the guys that were there to start the year. And Marquise and Quandell didn't get any minutes. They got the W, so everything works out, right? Well, we'll see. Other big games in that one, Joey Gatziolis has just been great all year. 13 points, 11 rebounds, another double-double for him. Chimo Duce had 10 rebounds for the Hawks. He had a gaudy stat line. 10 rebounds, 1 assist, 4 block shots, and 2 steals, adding 7 points as well. So solid play for the Hawks in that one to get the W, 82-79 over the College of Lake County. And that would put them into their holiday break, and they would not have another game until last night against Wilbur Wright College. Now, both the men's and women's teams played Wilbur Wright College. Wright College came into this one winless with either program, so certainly a battle of teams that have struggled to start the year, to say the least, in the women's game. And in the men's game, possibly what should have been a definite victory for the Hawks, in my opinion, especially when you look at Wilbur Wright's record against some of the other teams that are in our conference. I know that I saw them lose to, I didn't see them lose, but I saw on their schedule they lost to, I believe, to Page County. I think they lost to Triton as well. And yeah, that just goes to show that it was a team that was certainly beatable for the Hawks, both their women's and men's squad. So were they able to come up with the victory? It was a mixed bag. The women's game was interesting. They struggled in the first half, especially shooting. They were down 30-23 going into halftime. But after that, big third quarter for the Hawks. It was a tie ball game heading into the fourth. The Hawks scored 13 points in the third quarter. They shut down Wilbur Wright College, only giving up 6 points. It was key defense all around last night, and really the stars of the game, and it's kind of turned into this, Angelina Villison and Tamara Zebak. Tamara Zebak, 2 steals, Angelina Villison 5 steals, Michaela Drake added 3 steals as well. So there you go. That's the defense that was the key to the victory for the Hawks in that one. And yes, they would come up with the victory, 47-40. Another solid fourth quarter defensively. 11 points scored, only giving up 4 points. They only gave up 10 points in the second half. That's really key, and that was the key to the victory going forward for the Hawks. And it's going to be the key strategy, I think, going forward for the Hawks. Got to play good defense when you have an offense that's struggling to move the ball and kind of struggling to score the ball, and when you're not shooting well, especially when you lose arguably your best three-point shooter and probably at least your top 3 just shooters in Sarah Mahmood. You're going to need to find some offense in other areas, that's for sure. And I'd like to see them to get Michaela Drake involved a little bit more on offense. I think she can think she has the opportunity to score some points as well for the Hawks. Going to the stat line, just want to see how much time I got. I got 10 minutes. All right. Going to the stat line, Tamara Zivak, big game. She had 14 total points. She also had it looks like 13 rebounds, so a double-double for Ms. Zivak. And, of course, Angelina Villison, big game, 24.6 rebounds and the 5 steals. Michaela Drake added 8 rebounds as well. Kristen Service, Isabel McGinnis, and Michaela Drake all got on the score sheet as well as far as points. Hawks kind of struggled from the field, 26% shooting. Didn't hit any three-pointers, only 50% from the free throw line. However, Wilbur Wright only shot 25% from the free throw line. They only had 4 free throw attempts the entire game. So, all in all, solid victory for the Hawks. Struggled on the boards a little bit. 2 of the opposing players were in double-digit rebounds, which is never good. Goes to show that you were struggling on the boards. In fact, a lot of the other players had high rebound totals for the Wilbur Wright Rams. Their top player, Dina Delabra, 11 points on the game, 7 rebounds, 5 assists for the Hawks. Angelina Villison, like I said, led the scoring for the Hawks and the scoring in the game with 24 points and 6 rebounds. Up next for the Hawks, they're going to be playing against Rock Valley College. That'll be at Rock Valley. That'll be, I believe, this Saturday. Yeah, it is going to be this Saturday against Rock Valley College. So that's going to be an intense match. Not sure if I'm going to be able to make it out for that one, but I'll be rooting them on. Nonetheless, Rock Valley is another top squad. They got a top squad in both the women's and men's basketball programs. So, in fact, the men's squad is #1 in the nation. Our men's squad will be taking on Rock Valley as well on Saturday. We'll get to the men's squad in just a second. I'm going to take a break here and switch over to a new video. But yeah, follow me on Twitter at WHCM Sports for all the Harper Hawk sports coverage action. Like us on Twitter, or like us on Facebook, WHCM 88.3 FM, Harper College. Go to our website, www.harperhawks.net, for all the Harper Hawk sports action, schedules, stats, and all that stuff. If not, I'll be back in just a couple minutes with coverage of the men's basketball game against Wilbur Wright. We've got to get into that, and then I'll also preview the upcoming schedules for the various sports going forward. So let me sign off here, and we'll be back in just a couple minutes.